I've got a good bloody hell. I'm looking for that word. I've got a good hard drives, good SSD, good all that kind of stuff, and essentially, and it. I know I've got someone whispering inside here, even though I'm like gesturing to leave. It's amazing when you try to like let people know that they need to not come in while you're doing a podcast. But they come in anyway. Disregard your gestures because you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm doing? What are you eating? Something?
No.
Okay. All right. Never mind then. That's all good. Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Innocent Podcast. Your one-stop shop for anime. Sort of, I wouldn't call it news, but breakdowns, or reviews, our waifu choices in anime that we deem, valid enough to watch. And yeah, my name is Cleo. That other person across from me is Rare, and Rare. Or is it like, is it just this? Do you just make the sound? Is that how it's done, or I don't know?
I mean, you're the English one. You're supposed to tell me.
I'm asking you, how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce your name?
Rare.
Some people like it's Jamal with an E. It's like, what? Jamal with an E. Yeah.
True.
So I don't know. Rare with an R.
Rare, yeah, rare. Americans say rare.
Is that how they say it?
Yeah.
I thought they'd be like, Rare with a but it's okay. Hello. It is me. So Rare, you picked the anime this week, unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you want to look at it.
Very, very wise and smart and handsome decision. Yes.
It's not the word I would use, but okay. So you pick our anime this week first. This week, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you pick this? When I finally give you the reins, why did you choose this?
Why? That's a good question.
Deep question.
Well, to start off, I ended up choosing it mostly because we already seen the first episode, and I wanted to have a reason to rewatch it, and then I wanted to rewatch some of it with some friends, or with a friend / also maybe my missus. My friends never came around to watching it because they kept making false promises. The boys who I usually watch anime with, one of them really wanted to watch it, and I kept waiting for him every week. Is that the beach episode as our gift, by the way?
It is.
What beach episode?
There is no beach episode. That's actually from the intro. So
right, okay, but there will be a beach episode then. That's what we're trying.
Probably not. I don't know. I don't know where this anime
is
goes.
Too dark to have a beach episode. I feel like
I wouldn't doubt
it.
It's
just filled with monsters and fucking devils and.
It could happen, man.
Worst case scenario, probably like best case scenario, there's a bunch of like box jellyfish or man o' war just sitting in the water waiting menacingly. You can't see them because they're all fucking translucent. But yeah, I was waiting for some homies to watch it with, one of my homies specifically. And he just was really busy, or he was busy. Either he was ghosting, busy just in general, or whatever. But I gave him like almost 3 weeks to, or whenever the first episode aired, which was, it feels like over 3 weeks now, but whatever. Either way, I waited to watch it with him, and he ended up not coming along and telling me, and he's always like, yeah, we'll watch it, and then he's, I'm busy, or he's gone for like a whole week, and he had an internet thingy for like a week, and to some degree I'm just kind of like, all right, dude, you don't want to watch it. To that degree. So I ended up binging it all yesterday, actually. Not today. I watched the last episode today, but I ended up binging all of the, like, I think I watched episode 1 again, and then redo all of them, or did the other ones. Sorry, redo the first one, then watched all the ones with my missus. She didn't actually, after the first episode, she didn't want to watch it, and I was like, well, too bad for you. I was like, well, sucks to suck, I guess, so we ended up watching it. She was interested, I guess, maybe to a degree, but doesn't matter what she wants. But I can see for myself that she I can see for myself and with her as well that when there was no more, because I don't know about you, but there was no dub. It was just sub, obviously, because it just came out. I don't know why they don't sub it or dub it right away. Like I feel like if they release something, I know it should be like out faster, and I guess
but
the Japanese audience
you do know that they actually, when they create these shows, they're created in Japan, and
sure.
They're originally created in. No, well, obviously to dub it, you need to have voice actors and all that kind of stuff. They can't do both at the same time. They can't dub and sub at the same time.
No. They could sub it. They can make it in Japanese.
They can't do it in Japanese and English at the exact same time, because think about it like this: the animation studio is animating this, right? And then they have to do the voiceover for it and all that kind of stuff, and then lip sync it and all that kind of stuff, and clip it together. I don't think, especially with some of these companies, they probably don't have the budget for it to do it both at the same time all the time. Because obviously, if you're the director of this anime, you will probably want to make sure everything is proper. And if you're directing the Japanese version, which is the original version, because you're a Japanese person, more likely than not, you're gonna then you're not probably gonna want to hand over the reins to someone else just to do it over for the dub. You may want to have a little bit of creative input or whatever have you, because remember, that's kind of how we used to have it back in the day, where directors wouldn't have any say, or they would just take their stuff and dub it in English, and it would just be like shit, like kind of like the stuff you get on Cartoon Network and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly what happened.
Don't get me wrong. I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure they're already working on, like, I'm pretty sure most of the episodes are already like filmed, and they're just like editing it all together and making sure it fits together. And then, the Japanese characters, and I think most of the English cast is probably already, it's not like they're like now gonna hire, the next 5 characters. And I'm pretty sure like all these, most of the cogs in the wheel are already there for them to even start, because they're already in the process of launching it every week, I'm just wondering, like, I don't know if it would, I'm not saying like, look, I'm not saying I can't watch this shit because it's in Japanese. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it just would be nice if it was in dub as well, like it came out at the same time. Yes, for sure, you should launch an anime in or whatever show in whatever language it is made originally, but you would get so much more viewers if you did launch a show in, at least in a universal language like English. I ain't asking for Swedish, because they don't even dub Swedish shows like at all ever. So, and I wouldn't watch it in Swedish either. So,
you wouldn't watch. You wouldn't watch in Swedish. Why?
Everything sounds so, like, I don't know. Voice actors in Swedish for me sound kind of cringe. Like some of them sound okay, but some of them are just like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's like hearing Goku in Japanese, or Itadori in English. It just came across wrong, and that's the best way I can explain it to you, because you probably can relate with both of those things, right? Like Itadori. I mean, you probably did you watch JJK in English the first time?
I watched in English, yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe you can't relate, but you probably relate with hearing Goku in Japanese, right? Because you probably heard him in English.
Yeah, I heard him in English first, so yeah, I can relate to that, indeed.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but in Swedish, and it's just like you hear it in Swedish, and it's just like if I heard it, if it was like a Swedish show, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I still probably watch it in English, but I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But it's like,
how would Goku song in Swedish though?
Bro, I don't know, man. The Swedish people don't like yelling and powering up and that.
Just try to do a Swedish version of Goku.
The thing is, I can do Japanese Goku in Swedish, and I can do English Goku in Swedish. It just depends on what do you want? Do you want Japanese Goku in Kamehameha is just gonna sound like Kamehameha,
Japanese Goku in Swedish. Let's hear it.
You guys do this. Just so you guys know, if you guys listen in post and people who are live, he does this all the time. This is not something he does with a podcast. This is just some weird.
All they're saying is they're like, "Hurry up, Ray. Thank you, Q. You're doing the Lord's work. Keep it up."
No, they're like, "Why does he?"
Come on, let's hear it.
He does.
Let's hear this Goku. Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you want me to say? Give me some kind of voice. Like, give me something at least.
Some dialogue. Okay. Frieza, you will why Frieza? And you know
Okay, I'll do the whole Frieza line then. I'll just say some shit. I'm supposed to be You
gotta be Goku.
Can I swear?
You in Swedish? I guess yes. You can.
Yeah, it's Swedish. But not like your motherfucker.
Does Goku swear in?
No, he doesn't. He's pretty nice, so it would be out of character.
Okay.
You're saying like if you hired me and I had to do Goku's voice.
Okay, I hired a Swedish person to voice Goku for Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Go. Come on, man. It's a serious thing.
Fan! Vad håller du på med? Du kan inte göra så här till människor. Jag kommer blasta dig med min kamehameha! Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I basically should I tell you what I said, or you're gonna like Google it after?
I think I want you to hold on to that till later in the podcast. So
right.
Those of you who want to know what he said, you can wait till a bit further in the podcast. And if I forget, remind us, and we'll have him explain himself. Q's the best at sorry, what humility? And that's what I'm saying, Nalu. That's the thing. People understand this stuff, you know. So that being said, right? Maybe in the best as humility, as Nalu just said, because Nalu's an expert on these things. You've chosen Chainsaw Man as the anime we watched this week, which is fine because I was actually hoping to do Chainsaw Man at the end of the season. Like I was going to finish the season and then like episode 12 or whatever have you, and then suggest we do it then. But you wanted to do it now. We're 6 episodes into the season. I've been watching it with some new friends I made on this app called Meetup. So I've been going over to their house every Tuesday night and watching the episodes there. Which is the reason why I didn't watch it with you, because I know you wanted to watch it with me, but I've been watching it with you specifically with them, without you, sorry, because specifically I've been watching it with them. And
yeah, that's fine.
Exactly. Of course it's fine. You don't need to tell me that. I know that. So the thing is
I'm just saying it's fine because I don't want to watch it with you anyways.
Exactly. And I know your feelings are hurt, but it's okay. So
yeah.
So we've been watching these episodes together and so forth, and we haven't spoken about it. Like you and I haven't spoken about Chainsaw Man in the slightest. Like we haven't had any conversation about it. We haven't shared anything about it. What do you mean episode 7?
Wait, what do you mean? Yeah. Wait, not what do you mean episode 7, bro?
We're on episode 6. Yeah, like
episode 7 doesn't exist. Error 404 doesn't exist.
Yeah, Nalu, like you're losing us.
Nalu, you're trying to fuck us up, bro.
I think he's messing with us. There's no way there's that episode. Either that or he's trying to say episode 7
shit, there is
will
episode
be
7. I saw it.
Is there?
Yeah, this is the episode that came out.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You didn't see it?
You're messing with me now. Like, come on. Piss off.
I love that you were like, oh my god, Ray, are you serious? Oh my god, I bet you're like panicking and scrolling through and
because I'm thinking like
it's
how
a beach episode. Q, come on. Okay, continue.
I'm thinking how does Crunchyroll not have it because they have like simulcast and all that nonsense. But anyway, we watched episode up to episode 6 thanks to you. So we're halfway through the season. So this is like a halfway season review.
Well, this is the halfway point. Yeah.
Exactly. And Ray, what do you usually say before we give our review?
Wait, before we what do you mean?
Before we give our review of the anime, we're halfway through. What do you usually say?
Halfway through.
What do you usually say to the people?
We should watch it to the end, right? We should give a review to the end.
No, you usually say something just as we're about to start.
We're definitely not spoiling anything at all. Please continue watching this video. It's brought to you by Q and Rare Entry Sama, or the Husbando Duo of Dreams. If you want all your husbando needs, especially, come to me. Don't go to Q because he's a stinky poo-poo head. No, but yeah, obviously, spoilers, guys, till episode 6. I forgot to do mandatory spoiler warning, and also make sure you guys like it, like the video, like the podcast, like the channel. if you regret it, maybe even drop a sub. And if you regret it, you can always just blame Q and unsub later. Fuck, words are hard to say. But yeah, don't do that. Just come. It costs you nothing. Just drop a little like. It helps us out. It means a lot to us. It shows that you guys are actually enjoying this content, and it means a lot, especially to me. I don't know about Q. I only can talk for myself, but yes. So spoiler warning. Continuing.
I'm regretting what I ate all day because because I just muted my mic to release my butt cheeks, and and now I'm regretting everything. Yeah, so yeah. That's why I was silent just a moment ago. By the way,
farts of regrets. Can we leave a moment for Q? So, rest in peace, everyone in his household right now.
If I just
doing
go
the whole like Jesus hand cross thing.
If I just go super silent and you guys don't hear anything, please know that I have suffocated myself, with horrible butt cheek smells. And so yeah, I've basically, because I've been sick for the longest while. Which, by the way, for those of you who may not know, who didn't watch That Beautiful Life this morning or whatever, I've been sick.
Tell them what That Beautiful Life is.
That Beautiful Life podcast is
what is That Beautiful Life?
It's the podcast I do with my other Swedish bro, Roger.
Wait, I'm not your only Swede. Oh damn, bro.
I know, right?
This man out here just taking all the Swedes, bro. Stop this madman.
I need more. I need more Swedes. Like literally. So I need to go.
Taste already.
I need to. Well, I mean, come on. One more Swede to save them all. So
Oh my, bro, this man just out here replacing one Swede after the next, bro. Next week he'll have fucking Jessica Svensson from Stockholm coming over, and oh no, you have a Stockholm friend already. You need one from Malmö now. Yeah, you can get a Malmö friend. You can see how terrible they are. Yeah, just don't take them home, and make sure they're house trained at least. To
be frank, I actually would like to do there's another podcast that I want to that I want to restart, but I want my co-host to be Polish. I want a Polish co-host for this other podcast. So I want someone. So because I think like chatting with them and sitting for the most part, a lot of my best co-hosts I've had in the past have spoken other languages, whether it was Spanish or Swedish or Dutch. No, I've never had a Korean co-host.
Your friend didn't. Oh, good.
Oh yeah, she did speak Korean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did.
But she wasn't Korean. She just happens to know, she learned Korean, essentially. So yeah.
Well, not speaking Korean, no. If you speak I don't know, Swedish. Yeah. I learned Swedish.
No, you're Swedish.
No, actually, I learned English. So
you are Swedish. Wait, do you think in Swedish or English?
In English.
So you think in English?
No. Because if you tell me salmon, I'm gonna think in the Swedish word right away. Like you tell me salmon, the first word that comes to your head, kind of thing. Like if I tell you oranges, what are you gonna think? Probably orange.
Yeah, I'm just gonna think of the fruit, right?
Okay, if I say Sweden, what's your first word that comes to your head? Like literally.
Deutschland.
Wrong country. Okay.
I'm just messing with you. If you say Sweden, I probably think Roger. That's probably the first thing.
Damn,
that's
wow.
No, honestly, I would, because the thing is, my first time visiting Sweden, I went to visit Roger, so it just makes sense. I've visited Sweden and I visited Roger, and I, not just Roger, but I'd picture Roger at the
picking up with his Volvo.
No. We went not at the airport. Roger didn't pick me up at the airport. He picked me up at the bus stop actually. Because he was supposed to get me at the airport, but there was snow. It randomly started snowing, and so he was like, "No, it's probably safer for me to get the bus instead of him speeding over to the airport." So I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." So I got a bus from the airport to his town, and then or to central Stockholm station or whatever have you, and he picked me up there in his car, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I wish I had set up a camera or something just as I was as we were meeting for the first time. There was a powerful. There was a powerful bro hug, he's sitting in the car, I'm walking out of the terminal thing, and I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, "Hey, can you see me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can see. I think I can see you." He's like, "I'm getting out of the car, and I'm looking, and then I see him, and he sees me, and we walk up to each other, and we embrace in a manly hug. It's very manly. Very manly hug,
Okay, never heard of that before.
And then we sat in the car and we started talking, and it was the weirdest feeling because we were so accustomed to hearing each other over headphones. And
Yeah.
But then it was like that voice is just coming. That voice you're accustomed to hearing every week is coming from the side of you, and it's like looking over and seeing your face. So it's like it was really chill. Actually, there's a recording of that though. There's a recording of us in the car because by then I could take out my phone and record us on my camera and everything like that. So I do have a recording.
When was this? If I can ask, like how long ago?
This was 2019, I think. I think it was 2019, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. I think 2019. So this would have been 2019. I believe it would have been end of November. Can you hear me? You've just gone silent.
No, I was expecting more.
Oh, you were expecting more? Yeah, it was just like end of.
It was 2019, and it was was it winter? Was it
it was approaching. It was approaching winter because it was so. Roger was like it's supposed to snow. It's supposed to snow, and it wasn't snowing at all. And so like every week we do the podcast and he's like, oh, this weather and it's not gonna snow and all that. It's not snowing. And literally the day I got on the plane, they said, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to delay the flight. Apparently there's some snow on the runway in Sweden, la-di-da, and so forth. And then they delayed our flight.
Right.
Because it started snowing in Sweden. And then while we were in the air, it slowed even more and they had to like clear up some stuff on the runway. And they actually had to keep us in the air a bit longer. And then we landed in Sweden. So,
oh damn,
that was my first day.
Oh, by the way, apparently this GIF is a spoiler. By the way, according to Nalu. Sorry, just sidetracking, but I don't know how. But
we'll find out when we find out. I guess
Yeah.
We'll find when we find out. But
what about the GIF then?
either way.
Yes, going back to your story.
Yeah, that was so. When I think Sweden, I think Roger. I think of that experience of visiting him and going to. We went to this well, I think going to Sweden was a couple of my firsts with a lot of things. It was the first time I had seen snow. It was
really?
Yeah, like in real like IRL was the first time I'd seen snow. Like I've visited countries that snowed before, but not during the time when it snowed. So it was the first time I saw snow.
Wait, like seeing snow fall or even seeing snow on the floor?
Both. It was both. It was the first time for both.
That's crazy.
Because it doesn't really snow in the UK, and whenever
I lived in Newcastle, I think
I lived further up north it snows, but
right.
like closer to like down south, near London area and stuff like that, it doesn't really snow.
I forgot. Where do you live in England again? I completely. I like as soon as you said, I remember, but I forgot.
I live not too far from London.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
shit.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to know where I live, listen to That Beautiful Life. I mention it every week. So yeah, essentially, we barely I've only seen snow here once in our town, and that was a shock. But this was after it snowed in, like I'd seen it in Sweden, so it was like holy crap, it can snow here too.
Right.
But yeah, essentially my first time having sushi was also in Sweden as well. I had sushi for the first time. Roger took me to a sushi restaurant. First time having moose was in Sweden. Moose was amazing. Love me some moose.
It tastes really good.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's why I would think of Roger and when I think of Sweden, because of the fact that there were a lot of first time experiences I had when I went to visit him in Sweden. But when you say what would I think of when you say the word Sweden? What do you think of when I say Sweden?
I think of the first time I went to Sweden. Well, the first time I can remember.
Is Sweden in Swedish, or do you say it in different way? Like kind of like how Germany is not Germany's Deutschland. How do you say Swedish in Sweden?
Sverige.
In Swedish, Sverige.
Sverige, yeah.
Sverige. So Swedish people don't say Sweden; they say Sverige.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to Sverige. Yes.
Välkommen till Sverige.
Okay.
But it sounds kind of racist.
Why does it sound racist? Is it Sverige?
I don't know. It's like welcome to fucking Sweden, motherfucker. Like, I don't know. Just as soon as I said it, I don't know, a dab of like shit just came up. But anyways, you know what's funny though? Really quick with the whole snow thing. My first time seeing snow. It's funny you said Deutschland. First time I saw snow was
in Germany.
No, it was in Austria, and it was on the Alps, but it wasn't snowing. It was just because it's so high up and it's so cold. It was actually in summer. I was in Sweden for the summer, and that was actually the first year I went to Sweden. That I remember. I obviously went to Sweden before, but I was a baby. And my dad wants to go skiing. He's like, Hans, you never seen snow before? And I'm like, no. And it's like, well, we don't come in the winter to Sweden, but I'll bring you some. And I was like, oh, I really want to. Like, I thought it was gonna have snow in Sweden in summer because you're a kid and you're stupid, right? And unlike you, Q, you're still stupid, but and you're an adult.
Wow,
but when I was a kid, I wasn't that smart, No, so we went up and I actually went snowboarding on one of my dad's skis. Like I stood on his ski, like I couldn't put my foot in it, and I just stood on each side like how you would do a snowboard because I was like 8 or something. But I still remember the day I saw snow for the first time. It was like my first thought when I saw snow is, holy shit, it's so fucking white. Like I can't believe it stays that white. For some reason, I thought it would discolor or get icy, like kind of that like see-through white. It stays perfect white unless someone pees on it or walks over it. And what I thought was really crazy touching it and feeling it, because I don't know about you, but I like literally dove in the snow. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, because I saw it from like the ski lift thingy, right? That pulls you up all the way up into the Alps or whatever the fuck it's called. And what I did was I ran and I touched it and I thought, holy shit, it actually makes noise like they do in the movies.
It's not just crazy. That too. It's actually, when it's snowing, it's eerily quiet. Like there's this weird silence that you hear in the environment around you. Like, it's eerily quiet, but yes, when you walk in it does make a crunchy sound.
It's a magical kind of like the before the storm quiet, like the before the war quiet. Like why the fuck is a nuke about to come or some shit? Like,
it's
like,
really creepy.
Why is it so? Yeah, it's kind of creepy actually. I agree with you. Unless it's a snowstorm, but luckily my first experience with snow wasn't a snowstorm. So. One thing with my experience with snow though is that same day, because we only were there for like I think 1 or 2 days. I'm not even sure. I don't remember because brain of a goldfish, right? But I remember like hating the cold after because I didn't hate the snow, but I ended up like realizing how painful it is to actually feel cold. What ended up happening is I didn't actually wear boots like my dad told me. I was being an edgy fucking 8-year-old and I just decided I can do whatever I want, and he told me to wear boots and to wear socks, and I ended up wearing like sneakers kind of in snow that's like up to your knees,
Yeah, that's gonna be cold.
The snow came inside my shoe and my feet literally froze and I was crying and I wanted to go home, and I kind of ruined the day for my parents, I think.
He's like, God damn it, you little nonsense head. You should have listened to me the first time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, my dad is pretty much always right. I hate to admit it, but well, at least for the most part. Like, he's more right than he's wrong. So
is that why he called you last night to tell you he was right?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to me, son.
What did I say? And then what did I tell you?
You know I'm always right. Yes. And speaking of being right, we should talk about the anime. So we've literally done 8 minutes of our first experience with snow. And that had nothing to do with Chainsaw Man. But that's technically why you come to our podcast. You if you wanted just to get our opinion on, like, just an opinion on Chainsaw Man, you'd go somewhere else on the internet, right? You would go somewhere where you could just like search Chainsaw Man and someone would tell you about it. But if you're a top tier bando like our boy Nalu and the rest of the people who pop in and check out our beautiful podcast, you come here to hang out and chat with us and recommend good anime like what Nalu's recommending in the chat. Which Nalu, I've got the anime on my other screen, so I will look into Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World when after we're finished with the show. We'll look into it and see if it's something that we can cover in the podcast, which we probably will. So, but anywho, we're talking about Chainsaw Man today, and we've seen.
Sorry, real quick. When Nalu says that, are they the same anime or are they two different animes?
It's one anime. It's one anime.
Because he says, "Or the Ride of a New World."
Dude, you just Google it. It's one anime.
Oh, okay.
It's one anime. Learn to listen when I speak to you, mate. Like, I say it's one anime, and you keep asking the same questions.
I don't believe you, bro, because you're not the believable and trustworthy person,
No, think about it. We have spoken about Chainsaw Man before, haven't we?
We have on the previous episode on Chainsaw Man on the first episode. We won't be covering much on the first episode, I think, because
So we literally
actually,
just did episode 1 for episode, because episode 6 of this podcast was Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
And we
Wanna clarify?
only spoke about episode 1, so we won't go over all the details of episode 1. If you want to know what we to think about, like how the show started and all that kind of stuff, go listen to episode 6 of this podcast. This episode is going to go over from episode 2 come forward, essentially. So
and I highly recommend you guys going back and listening to that episode. I think it was one of my favorite episodes. We go long and in detail, like especially me. Like I literally talk about the start of the anime. And Q does a breakdown. So we can still break down some stuff, but we don't need a breakdown for this episode. I highly recommend go watching it. I won't say anything else than that, but just go check it out.
Yeah, definitely go check out that episode. So we're talking about Chainsaw Man today again. And we've been watching this anime weekly. And the story continues from where it left off, essentially, where they've introduced new characters. So
from where after the first episode, we were introduced to pink-haired
Makima
character.
Oh, yeah, Power. Makima
Power. No, not Power. We get introduced
Makima
to Power
is not pink hair, though. It's kind of like is it red or something?
For me, her hair is pink and Power is like blonde and pink at the same time. I don't know.
Power is like pink to me. I think Makima's hair is more red. I find Power's hair is more pink.
Is Power hair pink? I know people cosplay her with pink hair, but for me,
I think Power's hair is pink, isn't it?
For me, her hair is not pink, but I need to Google an image of her. No, her hair is yellow in the fucking, like literally the IMDb, not the IMDb, sorry, but the image. Yeah, like no, like the fandom, the wiki fandom, like the first image. Even if you Google her
on wiki,
all her hair is it's all yellow, but her hair does go into pink. Like it's weird because it's like how she's animated.
Mm-hmm.
It can look pink at times, but it's actually
blonde.
It looks blonde. She has like almost the same hair. She's like her Denji's hair is definitely blonde. Her hair is like blonde and pink at the same time.
So kind of like really a peach blonde.
Yeah. Like especially especially when it becomes darker around her or the shadows or the underlaying of her hair, like you know how they animate hair. Her hair does become a bit pink. I would say if you wanted to if you were cosplaying or interested in cosplaying and you wanted to like dye your hair, you probably would get a blonde wig and then do like the little like touches of pink on it, like not like a full on re-dye, but
dip it in the guts of strawberries.
Yeah, I just eat lots of strawberries.
Yeah. So we have the anime continues with Power. It starts with Makima. Then we're introduced to Aki, the guy with the sword. Then after Aki, we're introduced to Power. I think Power is introduced probably like episode 3, I think.
Yeah, she comes in right at the end of the episode, I think, if I'm correct. She just stands behind them. Because they do that whole like Aki team building kind of thing.
Yeah, they do a little team building between him and and Denji. And and then after that, we're slowly we have a full episode between Power and Denji. And then now we're introduced to some other characters, like what's her name again?
Crybaby. The one-eye one or the Crybaby?
The one-eye one isn't not the. Is it like
I don't know. You have to have
Himino or something like that?
Himino. I think so. Yeah.
Himino. Yeah. So she's
You'll have to have the wiki in front of you because
I'm looking at the wiki. Yeah. So Himino, she's introduced along with the Crybabies. Her and the Crybaby squad. You have to say the Crybaby squad because everyone in that squad is crying.
Bro, okay, the guy is a little wimp as well, I guess. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He was crying at the end too. They were all crying. Right? He was in the bed like crying to himself and all that kind of stuff. Like they were all crying in that last episode. Right. So in the end, we introduced to quite a few characters so far. I don't like all the characters. I was really annoyed at those Crybabies. Like I was just getting pissed at them the whole episode. I was just like what the hell? Like, why would you come here? And all like, even like the Crybaby girl who's like, oh, my parents wanted my brother to go to college, or university or whatever have you, and so I have to get a job, and I only have two
Or-
choices: either this
yeah.
or go into prostitution, sex work. And so she's a coward and chose the more violent job in the sense of like the one where she could lose her life.
I don't know, man.
I mean, if you're
I think
stuck
if you're a
about
coward like she is, then yeah, I would probably say if you don't want to die and if you think prostitution is that bad, then I don't know, bro.
I mean,
don't know.
at the end of the day,
Prostitution would be very bad in that world. I don't know. Imagine what kind of world they live in, though. It's definitely not like ours, right? Like, well, obviously, it's obvious because of the devils, right? But I mean, like, where your parents are like, oh, you can only one of our kids can go to college, you know. I think we should touch on this because I'm realizing, you know, firstly with the crybabies, for me they're like that. They're the kind of characters I call the dead meat characters. They're basically dead meat from the time you see them getting introduced and nothing happens. They're pretty much dead meat. Yeah, they're pretty much dead meat. And I could be wrong on this. You know, like I'm speculating because I do have the horror movie brain on at some points. You know, especially with an anime with this much gore. I think I'm gonna be able to turn it back on properly. You know, not like something like Spike's Family or some shit like that, which I won't be talking about. But you know. And if you want to hear Spike's Family, go check that episode out. I don't know which episode it is, but I think it's episode 2 or 3 or something, maybe.
I think it's episode 2 or 3.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, those characters are dead meat. I could see why you think they're crybabies. Well, they didn't annoy me. For me, they were just dead meat. So I wasn't annoyed in the same way. Oh, maybe you're not annoyed, but from what it sounds like,
I think I was annoyed because the thing is like. They live in a world where they already know about these creatures, right? Like they're aware of these devils that they're hunting and all that kind of stuff. They know they exist. It's not like this is a surprise to them, and they've got into this field of work knowing what it's about, knowing what it entails and all that kind of stuff to a certain extent. If you knowingly go into a field of work, and it's like becoming a police officer, and going through the training and everything, making it into the job. And then you get out there in the field and you start crying in the moments when you need to protect somebody or something.
I'm sure some police officers did that.
I don't know, but I mean, they probably didn't get trained well enough. But or being a fire officer and essentially a fire breaks out and you get there on the fire truck and you have to like go in and save people or spray water and you start crying, right? Oh my God, no, the horrors. Whatever. Like that's the equivalent. Like they knew what they were getting into. If you know you don't have the capacity for a job like that, don't do it. Like don't. That's like joining the military when you 100% know you don't have the capacity for it.
True.
Right.
True.
And not just that. But
I do think it's good though that you could see some kind of humanism to it. But go on. I'm interested.
I think the thing as well is like. It's not to say like she had no choice, like she was told you have to become a devil hunter. Like, no, she had two choices: devil hunter or sex worker. Like, literally speaking, if you're that much of a coward with regards to that work, like, let's put it this way: if it was me in that situation, right? And I was her, and my family told me, Q, you gotta become a devil hunter or a sex worker. Fam, I was popping them booty cheeks. I was like, let's go, right?
Bro, every guy would choose sex worker, bro.
I was really like, look, okay, parents, let's do this, right? I'm gonna become Magic Mike. Say it in so. Let's do this thing, right? I'm like, I'm going
out
into that.
Magic Mike. Wait, what are you saying? I know I am.
But
anyways,
to that extent, right? Magic Mike aside, to that extent, I just thought like, given her capacity for that kind of stuff, because she showed she had zero capacity, even for the weakest monsters that they ran into, she was afraid. So it was like basically like, if you don't have the capacity for this, why choose this over the other option? They're both bad. Yeah, they're both, at least for her, at least, they're both seen as bad, right?
Yeah.
But why would you choose the one that you're kind of a big coward for? Or, because one is going to cost you your life. Like, if let's say, for example, she works as a sex worker, right? In this thing. I don't know how it works in this world. Obviously, we weren't made privy to how the sex work in that world works. We were introduced to like the mafia side of things because of what happened with Denji in the first episode.
Yeah. I honestly imagine it's like that. I like the thing is, I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off, but I honestly think that sex work is like probably just as bad, except like you'll have to deal with fucking people maybe like potentially killing you or some shit. I don't know how it, like you could do sex work properly, like in our world, there's perfect examples of it where it's done properly and it can be done very poorly, which is I guess for the most part it's done probably more poorly than properly. But it's still better than just guarantee you maybe risking your life every time you go on the job, which is, you're right for saying that. You're absolutely right for saying, like, what, one is bad, one is evil, like you know what I mean? And then it's up to you to decide which is which.
One is a 99.9% chance of your life being at risk, and the other one is a percentage chance. I don't know how high that percentage is. It depends on how much they elaborate upon that in the show. But one is actually a percentage, and one is 100%. It's like 99.99% chance you're going to lose your life because of the fact that you're actually fighting monsters that are out to kill you. Right? They are actively trying to get you at that point in time. Whereas the other one is like, you so you're saying you would choose
sex working?
Yeah, I would. I'd make an OnlyFans. I'd do whatever I need to do, man. Like at the end of the day,
what if the pay is like dog, like
for sex work? But obviously, the thing, it wouldn't be though, because she had two choices. Her parents, because I'm sure there were other job options out there for her. The two choices were sex work and this devil hunting, because of the fact that they pay well enough. Both pay well enough. So. Or she wouldn't have. Those wouldn't be her two options, at least, because when we look at the show, there are other people doing other jobs. They have other occupations and stuff like that. She had those two choices because of the fact that her parents wanted money to send her brother to college.
Yeah, right. I see. So she got I understood that. I didn't actually know it was like she literally, like, because she was just the worst kid. And a college was that expensive, so at the point where they need to have her pay off his college,
no. They just wanted. My assumption as well is that the parents are just that horrible amount of people that they would have their daughter just go out and earn towards her brother rather than they earn it for her, to a certain extent. They were probably like, oh well, she's young. She could go out and do this stuff, and we could just reap the benefits, essentially. That's
what you take it. How I took it was like they're in like debt, kind of. That's what I'm understanding. Like
I didn't take it from that. Maybe we will as the show goes on. But I didn't.
It's
nice
to think about it though. It's nice to think about it a bit, for me at least. Even though they're meats,
it's a bit interesting, but I like instantly I didn't like her character from the point she started to act like that, where she's acting all crybaby and all that kind of stuff, and I can't stand characters like that who just start crying at the sight of anything. Those kind of characters annoy the shit out of me.
Wait, what if it was real life? What if it was real life though?
I don't like people who cry for no reason. Like if someone's crying, like
you have to cry for no reason.
I think in a situation like that, you're crying for no reason. I think if you're in a situation where it's like life or death kind of situation, if you start crying historically, it means you're not thinking about what's happening, and then you're more likely to get injured or hurt someone else. Yeah. Okay, in that sense. I think for me, if some terrible thing is happening, so that I think to a certain extent, excuse me, I think it would be inhuman to not have a reaction. Maybe like, oh shit, holy crap. Maybe that's your reaction.
Yeah.
But to just start screaming hysterically and crying and all that, I think that's just ridiculous. To me, I just find that illogical. Like, I don't think, like for me, and I say that as I wouldn't act like that, because to me, it's like, I've been in situations that were life threatening, right? And my reaction wasn't like, cry. That was my reaction. My reaction was like, holy shit. Like I was freaked out. I was terrified. I was frozen. All these sort of things. But I wasn't like making all this extra noise and screaming and crying and all that. Nah. That's usually when things turn out worse. You end up making it worse for yourself for the most part. And when you start acting like that, you start like just losing the plot essentially, which is what she did. She lost the plot. She completely, utterly lost the plot. And then she starts going after people, taking the bait that the devil is baiting her and telling her, hey, kill Denji, and then, I'll let the rest of you go. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna get him.
Well, technically it's not a bait because apparently you have to uphold it, and if you don't...
No, I mean, obviously, it's not... I'm not saying like the bait doesn't have anything at the end of it.
Right.
It's saying that I will let the rest of you go if you kill Denji. We'll make a deal on this. And yes, once you make a deal with them, they have to keep up the end of the bargain, so they will have to let them go essentially. But
yeah.
That being said,
sorry.
you're basically doing what it wants you to do for itself, because there's a reason it wants them to get rid of Denji, which Denji went into. Like, there's a reason it wants them to do it, and why it's not doing it themselves. Because if it could have just done it by itself alone.
Yeah,
but
we don't know yet, though. To be fair, so
I mean, the way they logicalize it is that the devil is afraid of him. You know.
Yeah.
It's afraid of facing Denji, so that's why it wants them to do it, right? So, which is why he was so confident to jump into its mouth at the end of the episode.
Yeah. That's what basically. So just so you guys know, where we left off is Denji jumping into this thing's mouth, basically.
Do you think the Infinity Devil? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, the Infinity Devil. Do you think? Do you think now that he actually technically threw himself in, do they get to just get released now, or do you think it's gonna be like more?
No, he
like
has to fight it. He has to fight. So essentially, he said what his plan was: jump into his mouth and start cutting it up from the inside.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's gonna start crying. And he realized that it basically attacks whenever someone starts crying and screaming and anguish and pain.
Yes.
And because it will be screaming and crying while he's cutting it from the inside, it should attack itself. That's basically what he's saying. Right. So it would attack itself while he's just carving it up from the inside. That's his plan.
Yeah.
Now, will that plan work or not? I think it will, because the anime still has a series. So I think his plan works for the most part. Just using that as logic.
I was thinking more like on the terms of like, well, he said dead or alive. They didn't say he needed to kill him, right? That wasn't part of the bargain. He said dead or alive. I think Denji saw through that and kind of like, well, maybe Denji's not that big brain because he's not really a big brain character, but I do think that technically he already held up his part of the bargain, right? Which is him going and quote unquote dying.
But that's not him holding up, because they said Denji's a fiend, and a fiend can't actually make a deal with a devil. They can't.
Oh, they can't?
So, yeah, I think that's what they said. At least, unless of course I read it wrong, but I believe he can't make a deal. It has to be one of the humans.
What about Thingy
Power
that made a deal with
Power can't do either.
Power made a deal with the fucking bad devil, and she's a fiend, and she was always a fiend.
No, I mean it's not the same kind of deal. Like the kind of deals they make between humans and them, it's sort of like it's a different. It's like they just, because at the end of the day, the Bat Devil didn't keep its end of the bargain. It wasn't forced. Like with the regular deals, they would make it a human. They are forced to do it. Yeah. She made a deal with the Bat Devil, and it still betrayed her. Like it was like, I told you that, but you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna just eat this cat anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't this. It wasn't the same. Like if it had made that deal with a human, it would have had to give them the cat back. Right. Whereas they could say to Power, I'll give you the cat, but then I'll eat it at the end of it. So that's essentially what it worked out to. At least from what it seems like with regards to the episode so far, or the series so far. But yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
What do you think so far about the anime so far? What do you think about where it's going, the characters, Pochita?
Oh, bro. Again, I hear his name. I still think of Bacon, as I said in another episode randomly. Try not to talk about that too much, but he still reminds me of Bacon when you just said his name there. Honestly, it's weird because if I'm not in the mood to watch a gory anime, and then we ended up watching this first episode and also Goblin Slayer, so I feel like we're really hitting my category of anime, even though I was expecting more. I don't know, maybe like something like slice of lifey-ish kind of. What do I think about the anime? I think for me, the very weird thing, and I don't know if it's weird or I think it's funny, it's really catering to like BDSM / like very what's the word I'm looking for? People who like, I don't know, pain or gore, or people who are just terrible to each other. For example, like I keep forgetting the pink-haired girl with the braid. I'm just gonna call her the chief, for now, because I honestly keep forgetting her name. The chief girl, she starts off with, yeah, you can come, I'll feed you and stuff, but as soon as you fucking fuck up, I'm killing you. You know? And she has this whole like, I'll feed you, I'll treat you like a puppy, you're mine, you know. And Denji is like, you know, he's like, I feel like for me, he's such a sub, like he's like a male sub, which I know it's like weird that I'm talking about this kind of shit on the podcast, but you'll have to excuse me, but I know a little bit about this, and I'm not gonna talk about it on more than that I know. But I do think it's very nice in that sense, where he's like, he wants to smash, he wants to bubba, his life is bubba, he's run by bubba, but he gives me some, and I don't want to say it like this, but he gives me some Inuyasha kind of vibes, where even though he's like arrogant and shit, he still's like, you know, Inuyasha is kind of like, I don't want to talk too much about Inuyasha because we might do an episode on it, but it's an old ass anime that I used to watch when I was younger, and without getting too much into it, he just is very similar to Inuyasha in a sense. So I got that feeling because when he took in Pochita, he basically got a little bit of dog in him, in a sense, like oh, not dog, but like dog devil personality. I would say like a doggish personality. So he seems like he's loyal. He seems like the kind of person who is loyal, but he also strikes me as someone who I can relate to very much. And I know I say this about every fucking character, but when I say relate to, I mean like if a zombie literally started talking to me and said, "Look, I want to be a friend. I'm not going to eat you. I'm gonna befriend the fucking zombie. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, it's a rotten human corpse. Yeah, it wants brains, and it probably needs to survive for brains, or I don't even know if zombies need to survive at all because, you know, they're dead already. But for the most part, I would be sad if it got killed. You know, I would not let anyone harm it or torture it too much. You know, I would just be like, okay, you know, they want to test on you, is okay, and if they say no, I'll be like, yo, look, fuck off my zombie friend. He's my friend. Same thing with the devil. Same thing with, you know, fucking succubus or whatever, fucking choose anything, you know. I would be friends with it before, you know, and obviously I'd have to take the consequences on it betraying me, but Denji is very gullible, but he's very innocent and very sweet, but he knows what he wants. He's driven by food, death, and now he's driven by, you know, being able to do anything he wants, which I don't know why he just wants a kiss from Chief Lady. He, if I was him, you know, I would get the full shebang, you know, the full smash.
Oh, he does want the full thing.
He wants the, he does?
She did say anything.
She did say anything.
She said she gave him, and then he said, does that mean? And she was like, she stopped him.
She said yes.
And she was like anything, and then, you know, so like
when I say the full smash, I'm talking about the full smash.
Well, he's expecting the full smash, but I'm
talking about more like smash plus. You know, I'm talking about like smash plus, if you know what I mean. I'm not gonna go into details, right? But
okay. I think Denji's expecting that from her, and I mean, she is manipulating him, obviously, and he is very simple-minded, you know. I mean, he's
very sub as well. You have to remember that he's subbing to her. He does this thing, and you know, subs get rewarded, you know, from their doms, and she's the dom, right? So it's like it's not just that too, but he's very he's like a dog.
It's not just like a dog, but he's simple-minded in the sense like all he thinks about is boobs, right? And
food, boobs, comfort. It's nice now. I can sleep now. It's comfy on the bed. Why wouldn't I do it? You know, very simple.
I would say that the thing as well is like one of the things that he that I guess to some extent I could relate to. You know, like he chased after boobs for the whole like first 4 or 5 episodes. He was chasing boobs. Right.
I think he was chasing boobs since we met him. Like he was like even talking about it.
That's the first few episodes. That's what I'm saying. First 4 or 5 episodes, he's chasing boobs. He finally gets the boobs. I think in episode 5, he finally gets to feel boobs with power.
Power's boobs.
And then he's so disappointed by it. He's like, "Oh, this is not what I expected." And this is why I could say like, when I was younger, like when I was a younger lad, and the first time before I'd ever like held a boob before, you know, it was something that as a young lad you kind of fantasized about, because you see them, you don't have them, and I'm sure it's the reverse for like younger ladies. Like they wonder, oh, what is it like to have a man schlong and be able to aim at the loo and spray and all that. They probably think, oh, that's so cool. Or even for like someone who has straight hair, and then they see someone with curly hair. They always want to touch your hair or like ask you like, how does it do that, and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's always everyone wants what they don't have, essentially, to a certain extent.
Yeah, exactly. That's really well said.
And when you get like, for me, it was like when you get your, or I guess another sort of like metaphor that can be used for that, or statement that you could use would be, the grass always seems green on the other side, because once you get to the other side and you actually hold the boob, it's like, okay, it's just flesh, and they're nice flesh, but it's not as like, I guess when in your fantasies, and this is where it goes down to like hype, you'll never like live up to the, nothing will ever live up to the hype, essentially. So when you're fantasizing about the boobs as a young lad, you know, you're dreaming about them, you're watching stuff on the internet, you're thinking, my god, boobs are amazing. And then when you finally get them, you're like,
wait, you said internet?
Yeah, like
you and I are both boomers, okay?
Okay, well, back in all days, you had magazines then, you know, you'd see boobs in magazines or newspapers or whatever have you. And you remember Punch?
Yeah. Punch?
And did you guys have Punch in Tobago?
Like the drink?
No, not the drink. There was a newspaper, that adult newspaper that used to sell in Trinidad and Tobago back in the day. As you mentioned, it was called Punch. I remember when you'd go to the shop to buy, like, I'd go to buy, like, you know, like Newsday on Express and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And there would be this other paper there. Like, you'd see it next to them, and it would say Punch on it. But you couldn't buy it, obviously, because you're a child. And it used to be in grocery stores as well, right? But it was an adult newspaper. It was called Punch. I remember this. This was a thing. I don't think I ever bought one though. But
you know, look, I ain't shaming you, right? Like, but my first time, I think, if I recall correctly, like the oldest thing I've seen on a boob was some like online server chats. I don't even know how I got in there. Someone linked some shit or something like that. You want to see boobs? Click this link. I click on it, and it took like 7 hours or some shit, and I had it like on another tab to load in a picture, and it started from the top to the bottom. So and then it was just like this sexy, I don't know, American blonde porn star chick, and she was basically like hand on coochie and boobs out, and in a like on a chair, kind of like semi-standing sitting pose, flashing, you know, and she just had a boob in one hand, and it's just like I remember seeing her face, and I was like, okay, it's a girl, you know. And I was like, and then it like got to her where you could see like the collarbone. I was like, oh, okay, she has no shirt, okay, like, and then the fucking and then that fucking line would render, and it was like, zip,
let me tell you something.
Like, render, motherfucker. So, and I would just watch it. I don't remember exactly how she looked anymore. I'm pretty sure she was just like blonde, long hair, and all that shit. And I think she had like maybe some black semi lingerie, whatever lingerie she had. But
I think
it took a while. It took a while. That's
kind of the thing. Like you kind of hit the nail on the head there with that statement. Like you can't remember what it looked like, and it was she just kind of like, I think it's sort of like that post fap kind of shame you feel sometimes. You know, you do a fap. You know, because you're like, well, I need this fap right now. It's very important. And then after the fap,
I don't think I fapped after it. I think I was.
No, I'm not saying like that. Okay, I mean like the feeling of like you chase it down. You know, you chase down this picture or whatever have you. You finally get the picture, and then it's like, okay, well, it's a picture. It's a boob. I think that's the same essential thing that happened with Denji. It's like
Denji.
He chased down having boobs for so long. I need to get these boobs. They're amazing. He finally gets boobs, and he's like,
So yeah, ladies, you know, if you're trying to play hard to get, remember, our first time wasn't as good as we let off. You know, not joking.
Yeah, it's just a
no,
boob.
But yeah, I do find it funny though how she was preparing and he started touching, and then or I don't know if he started, but the fucking like padding on her breasts.
Mm-hmm. You know, someone I was watching it with was talking about that. Like one of the guys we were watching. I in my mind, right? So one of the guys we were watching it with, he's like, no, he hadn't watched it before. He was like, wait a minute, did her boobs get bigger? And I'm like, huh? Like. In my mind, I'm thinking like, why is he like? How is he paying attention to that?
Wait, you serious?
Yeah, like he knew, but I guess he was paying attention to every little detail in the character design. I wasn't, right? So for me, I was like, nah, her boobs are always like that. That's just probably the animation style. Maybe it's the angle or whatever have you, you know. And everyone is like, yeah, everyone else in the room is agreeing with me. They're like, yeah, that's definitely it. And then the week after.
Sorry, I did have to say, I don't say sorry. Like I didn't notice it.
I didn't notice anything of that.
I thought it was like, again, like the lighting. What I thought was that they just emphasize it for that scenario, you know.
Yes.
It would be back to normal, you know what I mean? Like how they emphasize how derpy a character's eyes look, or you know, a character like in, I'm not gonna say the previous show we watched, which is which you guys should go check out, which is Romance Killer, like, you know, that character who I'm gonna talk about, but I'm not gonna say her name, but you know what I'm talking about, like how they emphasize that. I just thought it was like, well, they're emphasizing sexuality, so they're gonna obviously make her look more blushy, make her lips glossy, you know, like that kind of,
yes,
you know. But go on, yes, go on with the person you were watching with. I want to hear this.
So that's essentially it. He was so convinced about it, and I was like, nah, it's just like, I was saying basically what you said, like, it's just for emphasis, like, you know. And then when it was revealed that she had padding, I was like, oh, I told you, and everyone else was like, oh wow, like, you know, it was interesting that we didn't notice that kind of detail.
He's good, man. You need him. Like, we need him on the show, bro. Like, if you saw that,
he was paying attention to it. But hey, you know what? The thing though is that
that's a boob connoisseur, bro. He's better than both of us combined, bro. I'm just.
I mean, you know me. I'm a cheeks man anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah, true. But like, you still could appreciate the boob lovers, you know.
I do. Like, I appreciate some bubba, but you know, it's all about cheeks. You know, everyone knows this. You know, life is all about cheeks, you know.
Life is cheeks. Cheeks is life.
Amen to the cheeks. Cheeks are the best, you know, so.
I'm a thighs guy, so I can't relate. But I can relate, but I can't relate to it because it's not the same part. But, you know.
Yeah, you're just like...
do you consider thighs part of the cheeks? Like, when you look at cheeks, do you watch thighs as well? Or
I
is
do.
It just...
I think it's easy to appreciate thighs as a cheek appreciator because good thighs usually have good cheeks with them, you know, like they go hand in hand together, and they usually are wrong in the same area, so it's like, you know, you can appreciate both.
I do feel like you can have good thighs and not have good cheeks, and if you have good cheeks and no thighs, it looks really fake.
Yes, like, it does look fake. If you have good cheeks and you just have like slim, skinny, dry thighs, it's like,
which some women think looks really good, by the way.
I'm not judging,
but
it looks like you've stolen it from somewhere. It's like, you know, you know, like when a guy goes to the gym and he works out his upper body and he just does nothing with his lower body. It looks weird. It looks so.
That's actually the best shit I've heard in my life. That needs to be written somewhere and then reposted as Q 2022. If
it's skipping gym day. That's basically it.
Skipping leg day on the fucking gym if you have no thighs, ladies. Get your thighs together. Do it for all the thigh lovers like myself. Amen. We appreciate Q. You have officially earned the friendship points with me now. That's how you earn friendship points with me.
Oh man.
Anyway, I'm cutting you off today a lot. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's perfectly fine. So we haven't been introduced to any more characters I think that are relevant so far to the story. But as it's going along, I think it's obviously building up the world and it's building up the characters and all that kind of stuff for the series. So I think by the end of the series we'll have more. But I think as it stands right now, all we have is the
Can I ask? Do you think the world build will? Because I think if you had to ask me, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I think I can ask you this because I'm not too sure myself. Which is my favorite kind of question. Which is, do you think the world building so far is good, or is it okay, or is it like superb, or like?
I think it's good. I wouldn't say superb, but I'd say it's good. I think so far they've built all the characters.
Like a strong 5 or something.
No, higher than 5. I'd probably say maybe between 6 and 7, probably.
Okay.
For world building, it's not above that though, but because they've established the characters, and again, like even saying that much. That can't even be a solid answer for me because of the fact that we still are only 6 episodes in.
But we have to base it off of that though. Right?
From episode 1 to episode 6, I can say we've gotten a lot of urgency with certain characters as to where they come from and what they do. I mean, like for example, Aki, you know, his storyline as to why he's a devil hunter and why he does what he does. That was very, I think. It was very meaningful. His intro, like, you know, his sort of like flashback backstory about where he comes from and what he does and all that kind of stuff. That was amazing to me. I liked Aki a bit more. And
you actually liked it.
I did like Aki's flashback. Like I did like the whole thing, and I actually called it that it was Aki in the flashback. Like before it happened, I was like, wait a minute, isn't that the guy from? Isn't that the guy from who's with him with the sword? Isn't that him when he was younger? And then that moment when his whole house gets destroyed, just like licked away, I was like, wow, I wasn't seeing, like, we were all anticipating something was gonna happen when the brother was like, okay, I'm gonna go back. Like, we're thinking, oh, someone's gonna grab the brother, was gonna grab him. I was not expecting the whole house.
But he does say his parents got killed. Like, he did say that before.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like, I didn't expect it to happen like that. Like, literally, it was like a split second. You just saw whoosh, the house was gone. It was like,
honestly with you, that had no shock factor on me. I thought it was cool as fuck. I thought it was cool. I did not get like, I was like, oh, okay, something. And then we found out there's like the gun devil, and that's just one of his bullets that just apparently flew by or whatever. I'm not even understanding it properly still to myself. That's what happens, right? He shot a bullet, and that bullet just
flew past their house and just
flew past Earth basically, and fucking like clipped everything in like the crosshair. Like
it just cleaned up everything that was in his past. Their house happened to just be there.
That gun devil is like the one punch man, bro. Holy shit, bro. That shit just like the one bullet man, just fucking one bullet devil, just whoop. I don't know if that's like the one bullet, because they do mention, right? Because I'm not spoiling anything and I don't really know, but also not spoiling One Punch Man, but obviously his name is in the title, so but we should watch that show one day, by the way, just real quick.
One Punch Man.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it already. I haven't watched season 2 yet, but I've watched the first season. We should do an episode on that. Maybe people would like to comment and ask. By the way, chat, if you guys like this, do you like us doing more parts and parts anime? Do you like us finishing a whole anime completely and then going through it? Do you like us talking more about the characters and small parts, or maybe building up, like maybe like would you like it being broken down into more episodes? Would you like us to go back and maybe watch maybe like something like, let's say, Full Metal Alchemist, which is a lot more or a lot longer anime, but not like a Naruto or a One Piece or a Bleach, but long enough where it's like I feel like you could watch it, but I think, for example, covering it on like one episode would be kind of hard. At least for me, I haven't seen the anime yet, so I wouldn't know. But I know there's a lot of episodes in FMA.
I feel for me personally, like I like having a whole anime to sort of like do, because I feel like when you come back to do the second
but we should give them what they want, though.
I mean, no, I obviously, but not just give them what they want, but also there has to be a certain percentage of a factor for us as well, because if we're doing something just because it's like, okay, well, this is what the viewers want, so we're doing just only for them, it has to go 50-50. It has to be like, we have to want to do that way as well to a certain extent, because I mean, at the end of this is our podcast, we are this, when they say I mean the two of us as well as the viewers, so, or the listeners per se. So to a certain extent as well, like
viewers, you need to complain. Just complain to Q, Chad.
Give us feedback, obviously, but we are gonna take your feedback into consideration. Is the best way I would put it. Because like if you guys want like half episodes like this one, I don't mind doing them every now and then. For me personally, is the way I would put it. I don't mind doing them every now and then, but I don't want to do it all the time. Like, I prefer, if I had to do every podcast, every episode like this, like every show, do half and then do the other half, I find that it's a bit, it sort of takes me out. The second time I'm doing it, like, I feel like I have less to say. Whereas the first time, I probably say everything I want to say, or most of what I want to say. And I can't remember what I said the first time around, So for me, it just sort of complicates it in my head, the way how my brain processes it all, I guess.
Right. Were you happy with the choice then? Because we're technically going to be doing 3 episodes of Chainsaw Man. So, I mean, going at how we have it.
As I said, like I sort of like I sort of gave up the reins for this particular episode because of the fact that I did miss the last episode because I wasn't feeling well and my whole house was a mess, or still is a mess to an extent, but it was worse. So yeah, I gave up the reins specifically for that reason, because I wanted to sort of like pay back for the crime I've committed, but that being said,
so we get away, chat, just so you guys know, we get away. I mean, I get my way, you guys just, you guys are just along for the ride, I guess.
Pretty much.
But anyways, let's get back into anime. I think we went on a little side thingy there, which is fine, But so okay, world building good. Can we do like 2? Well, I'm gonna do 1 poll, which is obviously we have to do a husbando or actually I think we should do a waifu poll this time.
You want to do a waifu poll?
I think you could just add Denji in there if you want.
I'm sorry, Miss AR, you are wrong in your statement in the comment section below. No. How about no? Right?
How about now?
How about now? Yeah. So I'd say best waifu slash bando.
Make the poll.
And
we'll
I'm
talk about
literally
the
just I'm just gonna put in power.
Okay.
And
why powerful?
Yes, because power.
Are you putting power with spaces in between her, like P space O W, or are you just putting like one big?
I'm just typing it with power, and I'm just gonna put the NG.
That's such a funny name.
And
like she was made to fucking. She was made to be like.
So the best
cosplayed and waifus, I guess.
She is waifu, very waifu. So you could choose what basically who is best waifu bando in this. You have a choice between
that's a pretty good. There's two males, 2 females. Okay, guys. So listen and post.
Easy choice.
And everyone listening in YouTube as well. If you guys have your favorite waifus, the poll. Obviously, you guys won't be able to vote if you're listening from another sites and stuff. But
you could just type comment or send us a message. It's all good.
Yeah. Just comment to the YouTube video.
Oh my god.
And
get this right. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay. Just make sure you guys know that it's Power, Makima, Denji, and Aki. Aki's ponytail guy. Denji's the main character, obviously. Makima is, well, I'm gonna call her Maki from now on because that sounds so cute. But she's the dom, the freaking the dummy mommy, aka the the person you're going to get the missions from, I guess, if you put it that way. MMO terms. And of course Power. Yes, Power. We can't forget Power. The cosplay / I have pointy devil horns, but they're different from all the other pointy horn characters. So that's me. To be fair though, my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters in anime, is Lucy from Elfen Lied, which is the main character, Lucy. And they all have horns. So I like the different takes that every show is kind of doing their horns. There's a lot of similar horns, obviously, but one set of horns that is very popular is I'm not to say her name, but she's from what's that one anime called with Ainz as the main character? Overpowered? No, I forgot the name of it. I haven't seen it yet. Overlord, yeah, Overlord. Overpowered. I've seen like 2 or 3 episodes, but yes, from Overpowered, aka Overlord. I mean,
we should do Overlord, by the way. We should.
I know there's a lot of. I'd never seen anime, but as soon as I saw, I can't even say her name. Arimedu. I know she says it in Japanese, so I don't know how to say it in English. But. I didn't even I used to watch these videos. I watch YouTube Comic-Con cosplayers like those ones that you see on YouTube and stuff, and I love seeing them. And I always saw this character cosplayed and I never knew who it is, and I can see why people want to waifu her just from like the first 3 episodes. But we're gonna do a podcast on that. I'm gonna talk about it later. I already said too much. Q's already like subtracting my from my paycheck. He's just okay, he said this, faulty mistake there, he's talking to the chair, so I'm not getting any cookies tonight at all. Q usually feeds me and stuff and takes care of me really well. I'm joking. But anyway, so
my pet kangaroo, come
my
forth.
Pet Swede.
Go forth and do your thing.
Anyways, yes, go and like whoever you like, and if their character isn't there, make sure you guys go leave a comment on which character. Make sure you maybe leave in like a brackets like who that character is. We might have to Google them, but it's very nice to read your comments, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate reading comments and stuff on the YouTube video. So yeah, please do that, especially for those in post. Back to the show. So who's your favorite waifu, Q?
For me, it's Power.
It's clearly Power, right?
It's clearly Power. It's clearly Power. I mean, even in the last episode where Power is just like laughing maniacally as this crybaby is crying, I'm just like, yes, Power, and you should smack her in the face. I even like the scene where like she attacks and they sort of like knock the knife out and it just flies next to Power, and then Power doesn't even move. She's just like weak. Should be just thinking like weak. Look at this weakling crying and stuff. Power is just enjoying.
Wait. Do you think Okay, wait. I have to ask.
Mhm.
Right, we take Aki, Denji, Power. I can't maybe I wouldn't put Makima there yet, but let's say of those three, Denji, Aki, and Power. Who you think? Because we all know one is Sasuke, one is Hinata, and one is Naruto, right? I'm sorry to say, but we're doing that again. Yes, we did it with JJK. Yes, go watch that episode to find out who is who. It's pretty obvious, but who you think is actually the strongest? Like off of your gut feeling.
I think Power.
You think Power is the strongest?
I think it's Power. If not, it's Denji and then Power. But I think Power.
Really?
I don't think Aki is the strongest out of that squad. Like I think Aki is the weakest. I honestly think Aki is the weakest because like he made a deal. Like Aki is tough. Like I'm not saying he's not a tough guy. Like he's made a deal with his Fox Devil and he can summon this fox head that snaps, and he also made another deal with his sword and all for the sword and all that kind of stuff. So he's pretty powerful for the most part. Right. But that being said, I think Power is really, really badass. I think she's powerful. And I also think Denji, because they say like a devil is as powerful as like the what a devil is based on or whatever have you would make them more powerful. How scary it is, basically. A chainsaw is freaking terrifying. Like I'm just saying, a chainsaw is freaking. If someone's coming at you, like if someone pulls their chainsaw and they start coming at you, fam, I don't care how brave you are running. Right? You are running. Yeah, it is a bloody chainsaw.
You're not looking to like samurai sword, like nothing. Yeah, I would say a chainsaw is more scary than a gun. Even though guns, one shot, one kill. I think the fear in hearing the chainsaw.
Same. I think it's very.
I'll choose a gun any day of the week in every scenario ever.
A chainsaw is very intimidating. Like I would not want to face anyone with a chainsaw in close range. I'd probably like you. I'd probably go like, let's say for example you have to go into like a dead battle, and you get to choose the weapon your opponent has, and you have a couple of choices. Your opponent could have a pistol. Your opponent could have a chainsaw. Your opponent could and those are your two choices, fam. I'm gonna be like, here, hold that pistol, son. Like, cause I could probably I could probably duck and roll and avoid some shots. Eventually you're gonna run out of shots. If you come at me with a chainsaw and you got your grip on there, because you have to grip a chainsaw, right? If he's got the chainsaw in his hand and I can't get near you. Like, as far as I'm concerned, there's no way I get near you.
Oh,
and if you're chasing me,
you make it hard. You're making it hard.
If you're chasing me with a chainsaw,
you're making
there's nothing literally, the only way you beat a guy with a chainsaw is if he falls over or something, right? Outside of that, because a chainsaw has such a wide range, he could just be swinging out in front of him like a crazy person.
What if it's a Pochita-sized chainsaw? It's just like
no, I ain't taking chances with that, fam. I like living too much. Like, nah, chainsaw is terrifying. It's terrifying.
Wait. Okay, if it were me, just real quick, if I had to because I find this a very enjoyable discussion. I think I would actually choose the chainsaw over a gun, just if it was in a deathmatch kind of scenario. No, only because this person could be behind a fucking tree somewhere, but at least with a chainsaw I can start running.
That's why I say, like, in a death battle, like, you're in an arena, you have to fight someone. They have two choices of weapon, chainsaw or gun. In an arena, like, if someone has a pistol and they're shooting at you, there is a chance you can avoid it. Like, there's a chance you can duck and roll. And you know the thing about with guns have heavy recoil and stuff like that. Unless it was that person is like a perfect marksman. Like, if you put a gun in my hands and I shot, I'd probably miss 9 times out of 10 because I've never held a gun before. And from what I understand about how those things work, if you're not like if you haven't practiced or anything like that, you're probably gonna be shit with it, right? You're probably, because they're heavier as well. They're heavier than what like the average person thinks it feels like. Like, it's not like a water gun or someone Nerf gun. A gun is heavier.
I know.
Right?
I've held a real gun.
Really?
I don't know which model, but yeah, it's not. They're heavy, right? Like, they're especially heavy on the where the handle is, and then like the tip of the gun, you could feel it. Like if you had it like a L, if you bent it over to like aim, you feel that gun specifically. I I heard some of the ARs, like the assault rifles, are pretty light though. I've heard.
Oh, really?
But let's say you're talking about a handgun versus a chainsaw. I don't know. The thing is, I'm choosing gun only because I die faster. If I had to fight someone off, yes, you have to shoot, let's say 9 bullets and then you're out. But in 9 bullets, man, you're probably getting clapped in your knee or in your thigh, and then you're a duck, you know.
Even if I got clapped in my knee or my thigh, I could probably still fight back. If you come at me,
if you get shot by a gun, it's like they say it's like you get stick with a hot knife, you know. It feels like that, and it burns. It doesn't hurt right away. It hurts extremely much after as well, apparently.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, I like to think I have a high enough pain tolerance. I think if someone comes at me with a chainsaw, like just the idea of that, right? I think that the idea of it is just so terrifying, like a chainsaw, and the pain you would probably go through if a chainsaw catches you in the leg, fam. It's not. There's no. At least if a bullet gets you in the leg, you could probably, if you ended up surviving somehow, you could probably live a normal life. If a chainsaw gets you in the leg, fam, I don't have anything to say to you. You don't exist anymore, right? Like, you know, like. Someone could fire a shot at you in your chest, and it could miss your organs or something, and just go straight through, and you could live, right? Isn't that what happened to 50 Cent? Like, he got shot all over his body, and
yeah, true.
And he survived. You think if 50 Cent was like, if they were like if they were like drive-by chainsaw guys, you know, like they just came by in their drive-by car, you know, the tops down, and they come at him. Look,
I just imagine
there would be no 50 Cent
shooting a gun with miniature chainsaws inside me.
Exactly, that'd be the end of him.
Because that is actually more terrifying than a gun and a chainsaw.
I'm just saying,
chainsaw gun.
Chainsaw is more terrifying.
I see your points. I don't know. I still would choose the chainsaw if I had something to like maybe be able to whack it out of their hand. Like if I got like a machete, or I'm not saying that machete stands a chance. I'm just saying
it doesn't. It would like, and you probably get hurt swinging a machete at a chainsaw because remember it's a chain spinning around. It's probably gonna knock the machete back. It'll probably break it.
Yeah, I know.
And the machete's gonna probably hit you after. So your best bet, fam. I think if someone's coming at you with a chainsaw, I think the best bet is your only chance is to run and hope you're faster than them.
But that was my first go-to, right? Like that was my first go-to.
You can run. You can run and duck.
I think we need to specify it, like if we have a knife or like a stick. Or,
no, you don't have any weapon. You have no weapon, and you have to go
up
against someone with a chainsaw or a gun. Your choice is.
Nah, then I'm definitely choosing a gun. Yeah, I would 100% agree with you. Because you give me like if I also had options, but maybe not as good, you know. That's the kind of vibe
even if I could have the same weapon as them, I'm not going chainsaw to chainsaw, because even that is a bad idea. Like gun to gun, Wild West style, you might win. Right? A chainsaw to chainsaw style, no one wins in that. No one wins. Right? Can you imagine 2 chainsaws clashing with each other? What the fuck happens there? Like I think
I've never agreed with you more in my entire life.
Could you imagine the chains they've got caught in each other and they just burst and just start spinning everywhere and hit Nah, fam. Too much collateral damage. Chainsaw versus chainsaw is the worst.
I think you might get more collateral, but I think a gun is 100% almost death. Like if you lose your leg from a chainsaw, you could still survive. You know. I know. We were comparing.
You know people who've lost their legs to chainsaws.
I know a guy who lost his leg to
a chainsaw.
Like one of those grinding machines. It was basically a chainsaw, but it was like one of those grinding machines.
It's not the same. It's not the same. It's a chainsaw.
It's worse because it pinches skin and shit. I don't want to talk about it, but it's as bad. It's as bad.
Yeah, there's this YouTube channel that I somehow stumbled upon on YouTube. It was a channel where basically there was this lady with exceptional cheeks. You know, she had exceptional cheeks and she had a chainsaw. I don't know how YouTube felt like this is something I needed to see, but it did, and it showed it to me, and I was just like, they were just cut. Well, like her husband and her, like they cut wood and stuff. They like stuff.
Oh yes, I saw that. Talking about. I saw that specific video. He brought up this really long chainsaw.
Exactly,
and she was bringing it out. I thought it was his daughter. I don't know. It was
I think that's his missus. Either way, the point is
she had cheeks. She had a lot
of cheeks. right?
Yeah, she literally was wearing like a yoga pants and a
booty
bunch
cheeks.
of, and then she just
Exactly.
literally started bringing out all the bunch of chains. I've seen that, a bunch of chainsaws, and it's like, no, the other chainsaw, no, honey, the other chainsaw,
The
or
bigger
whatever.
one, exactly. And
Yeah,
I'm thinking
and
to
then she brought
myself,
out the
like,
big fucking one.
like, why is YouTube suggesting this to me? And thank you. But at the end of the day,
Thank you. That's why.
at the end of the day, though,
YouTube's listening.
YouTube is listening. You know, I mean, we are on YouTube as we speak. So
True.
But
How you think?
I looked at the chainsaws on that they were cutting wood with, and I was like, fam, no. Like, when I think about Chainsaw Man and I picture him as in real life, I picture those chainsaws on a man's head, and I'm like, fam, no.
Oh god, that's funny.
No. Just no.
Actually, you know what's funny? You made Texas Chainsaw Massacre seem like I watched it.
I've never seen
I'm
that.
not gonna talk about it, but I've watched it. I've actually watched the newer version and the old version back in the day.
Mhm.
Well, not actually back in the day, but you know. And I
Is your
thought it
phone
was
ringing?
Yes. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's my dad.
Is he calling to tell you, like, hey son, you know I'm right? Let me just tell you something. Your choice in waifu is wrong.
That's you if you were my dad, but no.
That if I were your dad, I'd be calling you. I'd be like, son, I've been listening to your podcast, and the fact that you wouldn't waifu Power's best waifu. Shame on you. Yes, I know better. Yes.
No, you probably just did tell me I'm an idiot for watching anime.
Is that what your dad would say? Is that what you
my dad would
say?
just shame me for watching anime. Probably.
Like, what are you wasting your
why are you
time
watching
doing?
kid cartoons, bro?
Is that what your dad calls it?
Nah, he probably would. He would probably. Yeah, he definitely would call it that. Like knowing him, like he used to call it back. Like he used to call kiddie cartoons back in the day when I used to watch Naruto. So I'm like, bro, you know they're killing people in this. Yeah, but it's still for kids. I'm like, okay, it's like it's just violent for kids. Violent.
You're like,
for kids.
let me tell you something.
He doesn't agree with
boy.
it. He don't think kids should be watching it, but then he'll still tell you that it's for kids. So it's weird. Like he would be like, bro, Tom and Jerry is so violent. Like he's one of those parents. He doesn't want guns or anything near me, or me to get influenced by guns or all that kind of stuff. Like anytime I got a toy, like an Action Man or whatever, he would just literally just like take the gun and just flame throw it and then throw it in the bin.
Yeah,
so I can recover it. So
my mom was like that. My mom was like, she was like, no guns. You just have to have like smart toys, like science sets and stuff. So I was never allowed to gun toys. But now as an adult, oh man, I'm so fascinated with Nerf though. I'd love to have a Nerf war with someone. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. They made a new Nerf Jinx from Arcane / League of Legends. They made a limited edition Nerf. Her gun is called Fishbones. Looks like a shark. It's pretty cool. Actually kind of. I'm not saying I would get it, but if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't. I would just be like, let me just get one for me and my buddy.
I think it would be cool to have like family Nerf wars. Yeah. Loser has to cook dinner. Like.
Nah, that's too much.
I just have like.
Actually, I already cooked dinner, so fuck it. Whatever. I'll have nothing to lose at that point. But yeah. Yeah, you made Chainsaw Man sound really. Chainsaw Massacre sound much worse now. Now that I think about it more, knowing how a chainsaw is called. Imagine being a tree, bro. That shit is like that's the one thing that can take you out easily, and it's just like, you just look at what it does to a tree, right? And you just you don't wanna be in contact with that. Even though I think a chainsaw is very can get damaged easy, which I'm always thinking about Chainsaw Man's. Like
chains
would they break, or is it like
because
he's a devil? It's
he's
kind of
like magic or something. I would think so. I don't think so. I think he's like magic. I think all of those devils or whatever have you, they're like magic, So
right.
They could probably get injured, but I think once they have blood to heal, they have their powers.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the other thing too, is like blood recovers him. Like any injury he gets, he has some blood and then he recovers from it. So
he literally grows limbs back and his hands go back together.
So his chains would be the same thing. All he would need is blood to recover.
That's crazy though, that it hurts him all the time as well, don't you find?
Does it hurt him all the time?
Well, he said he loses blood, so maybe it's not constantly hurting, but it splits his hands, or the chains. You could see them; they're revving through his, through his flesh on each hand, and I think the design of him is very, I think it's kind of weird how his head is like fully like CG like that, but I also think it's like well done as well. So it's like, I'm not against it, you know. It gives me the kind of like, actually gives me a little bit of a Goblin Slayer mask vibes kind of, because of how the eyes are inside the kind of chainsaw head parts. But I would imagine that he's the chainsaw devil. I would imagine his chainsaws are able to cut through every single devil, unless they're like the devil of diamonds or some weird thing, and then they're just like kind of hard to cut through or some shit. But I would imagine that his chainsaws are like the bat devil, pretty scary because people are afraid of bats, right? And it's a pretty scary thing, right? And it's just like that man he just did not care, you know. Denji just didn't care. And that freaking slug devil, what the fuck was I? What, 6 titties that were like the nipples were like dripping down? Like, you know what I thought halfway through that? So I said, wait, there's a bunch of tits there. Why doesn't Denji just grab onto those tits? You know? And she did hit on him, you know. She was like, oh, you want to come and be my pets?
He was like, nah.
He's like, nah, I got boobs to squeeze. She should if she was smart, she'd have just been like, what about mine? You know, and then he'd said, nah, but yours are stanky, you know, or some shit. But
those were like some freaky monster boobs. It wasn't like real boobs, you know. He wanted real looking human boobs.
If you're a real husband, you like monster boobs, okay? But not those. Those were.
Nah, he wanted Gale waifu boobs. That's what he wanted, you know.
Because technically, Power was a monster, right? So,
she is, but Power is a fiend though. Like, I think she's taken over a human's body. I think that's kind of how it works. Essentially,
something like that, yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's like Power's a devil who took over the body of a human, essentially. So at least that's how I believe Power works.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Strange enough, my PC has my browser is frozen. This is the thing I was saying about my PC acting weird. Like, my browser is just frozen, and I can't actually click anything in my browser, which is weird. So now it's unfrozen. Okay, so that
we're still live. So I mean,
yeah, that's the only thing. I had to like close and reopen it to just like minimize everything and then open it back up so I can still be able to see like actually click on things. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about with regards to Chainsaw Man? I think for me, I'm waiting for the next episode, I think, because I think we spent a lot of the first few episodes with Denji chasing boobs, and then he finally got them and he was disappointed, and then Makima made him more horny for them, and but specifically hers.
Well,
so yeah.
I want to talk about like the eye patch girl a bit, because I found her very interesting. I actually thought
we don't know much about her though, but okay.
Yeah, but I do. Yeah, so far I do think she's an interesting character. I do think she's probably not as strong as all the others, but she has some. You know, she has like the knowledge. She is, I guess, more of a sensei than anyone else in that group, if I had to put it that way. In terms of power, by the way, I do think actually that Aki is the strongest. In my opinion, I do think that sword has some kind of busted, cracked ass shit. Maybe Denji could survive it. And the thing why I say that is, I think Denji and Power both have an advantage that they're both. Well, one of them is a fiend, and the other one is like part devil. Genji being part devil, I guess. Or yeah, I don't know how to put it. Is he a devil? Is he half devil? I'm not even.
Who, Denji?
I know
he's half.
Denji
He's half devil.
He is half devil. Okay, because I want to know if I was actually correct or wrong on that. But in terms of power, I think Aki's the best. I don't know who I would wife for husband. I think Denji is great. I think all of them are great except for Aki. I think Aki is stinky poo poo. I hated him. The one thing I have to say though is that episode 2 when he got kicked in the balls, I think 3 times. He got kicked once on the floor. Once when his butt was like he was like trying to crawl away, and then like the second time is on the floor again to like get him back on the floor, and then the third time was in his nuts again whilst his like butt was facing Denji. And I thought, bro, I wouldn't be able to stand up the first time. This man has literal balls of steel, and I actually like that they portrayed him vomiting, because that's probably my reaction to getting kicked in the balls, because it's that painful. And if you're a girl and you're watching this and you're wondering, it can't be that bad. No, I think most men probably would vomit if they got kicked in the balls, like maybe even twice.
Yeah,
definitely. Or a good first kick that probably would make you vomit. It is a weird kind of pain. I can't explain it at all. But yeah, they programmed it so it's really painful. In terms of painful, I think Power is definitely waifu material. Like I think I'm a sim, but I think because I don't know much about Makima, it could change, and I actually want to vote on it still. I think Denji is great. But I do think I have to put into Team Power as well. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to see what we have now. And currently the votes, including with mine, is 67 to Power. Makima is 0. Denji is 33. That's very interesting. That's 2/3. So it was 50-50, I guess, before me, maybe. And then you have 0 for Aki because he's stinky poo poo. I think Aki's backstory was okay. I think Denji's overall lore is great. And I like the little we have seen of Power, but I would like to see more. She definitely needs more. I think she has a lot to deliver in terms of interest. Like that can make Power be really more my kind of character. Because I do think blunt and just power busted people are very interesting. And it's funny her name is Power, but I think overall, I'm not much else to say. I think there was a few things I liked about that, like just the way that the scenes were. I think everything is really well done. And I guess we touched on it as well, because now we're just watching Denji just jump into the mouth of this thing, and I'm curious. The world that we have that they're portraying, right, with that crybaby girl and that other crybaby dude, and what's her face losing a bunch of I'm going to call it the eye patch girl losing a bunch of I guess partners, or however you want to put them, like people she worked with. A lot of people die for this job, right? I'm just wondering, like, I feel like in this kind of world that we're in, everyone has a goal. Like everyone kind of has a goal, except for Denji, which is really interesting because people hate him. Like especially Aki, he really hates him for that. But Aki did take a knife to the gut or to the rib for him. And I find it weird because I think Aki, even though it's a good thing he did that, like from like a defensive kind of like to prove a point, and his reason for it was great. I do think that I think he would have survived that. Like Denji getting stabbed by a knife doesn't feel like anything, like even like that's like a fucking mosquito biting him, like, and not even a mosquito with like dengue, just like a regular ass mosquito that just that So I'm kind of like curious on that. I find this whole dynamic with him and Aki very Naruto Sasuke kind of, I don't know, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, with you, I just can't wait to see more. I think it'll be great overall. I am enjoying it. I definitely think this is up my alley. I'm not looking for. I was actually enjoying the slice of life anime that we had, which I'm not going to talk too much about, but go check those episodes out if you like slice of life. We did a slice of life movie, which I already forgot the name of, and then we did a romance killer, which I mentioned already. Go check those out if you guys like those kind of anime, and maybe not Chainsaw Man. And if you're just here for the Chainsaw Man and the gore, we have you covered as well. With Goblin Slayer, and I guess I won't say the other anime, but there's another anime there that's pretty gory as well, in my opinion. Yeah. Anything else, Q?
No, I mean, for me, I won't be watching Chainsaw Man for the next couple of weeks because my group isn't going to be meeting up on Tuesday for the next couple of weeks because two of the people in our group, the ones who host, they are going on vacation, and we had a choice of whether we watch the episodes while they're gone, and then we all continue from there, or we don't watch the episodes and we wait till everyone gets back. And we watch like 3 episodes in a row. So we're going to do that. I was like, yeah, that makes more sense because then, because when we're watching it every week, it's sort of like, it's not very fun when you watch one episode of Chainsaw Man because it's only 20 minutes and it goes by so quickly, and then you're just like, I want to know more. So we're just sort of like saving up the episodes, and we're going to watch 3 in a row, and it's going to be fun, I think, to have 3 episodes in a row instead of just 1. So,
I watched, I told you, I watched that one time, and then I rewatched all of them to episode 5, and then I watched episode 6 today, literally. That was great. For me, I honestly feel like I could rewatch it again, because I like literally ate through it. not because I was in a rush or anything, but
Mhm.
I was just like, oof, because we had some time. And I actually need to finish off High School of the Elite as well. And I don't know, maybe we should watch it together because you already seen it, and you can't influence me, but you might like my take on it, I guess. Off podcast, maybe if you're not busy or whatever, whenever you're free, maybe you can do it. I'm not in a rush though, but I do need to watch those. Like I don't know if it's 12 episodes or is it 10? I keep forgetting on the second season.
I believe it's 12. I believe
it's 12. So if you're down, we can watch those 4 episodes together or whatever. If you're not, just let me know after. But yeah. Can we give a rating for the podcast? Can we give a rating for the podcast?
I don't have a rating yet.
You don't want to give a rating?
No, I don't have one.
You don't have one.
Yeah. So I don't have a rating for them at the moment. Right. For me, it's like I need to wait and find out more before I can go ahead and give a rating, and especially because of the fact that we're only 6 episodes in, we're halfway through the season, and even for that half of the season that we've seen, it's still world building and character building, and we're learning the backstories of each of the characters. I think right now we're kind of getting the backstory to a certain extent. We're getting some of Aki's backstory as well as some of what's her face with the eye patch backstory.
Eye patch girl, yeah. So, I think Power still. We still need a lot. Maybe not. Maybe
we will. I think we will get stuff about Power as we go along, because all we know is that she was, eating stuff in the forest and she ran into a cat and became friends with Meowie. So, essentially,
you think there's more to that, right? Like that's not.
I think there's more that from her. I think like she like there's obviously she's existed before that. So what was she doing before that and all that kind of stuff is kind of the analysis of it.
Yeah, obviously. I meant like you definitely think we're gonna get a little bit more.
I think we're gonna get more about Power, and I think the thing too as well. I think Power is more powerful than she lets on. So
right.
I think she is a lot more powerful than we see so far from her. I just think it just takes time. We'll see how it goes from there.
Do you find it funny that the bad devil just like ate her and she was just like eh.
I think she was satisfied with losing them because of the fact that she was brokenhearted because her cat had been eaten. And I think for her it's like she was experiencing.
I felt like that was so out of character though, no?
I felt like it was out of character, yes, but I also felt it was fine because of the fact that she was showing emotion. Like she emotionally cared about this particular creature, like this cat. She became friends with it and stuff like that. And especially like I think with her, it's sort of like she's she's sort of like Denji in a sense. Like she's now learning about things for the first time. She's very innocent in that regard. So I think for her, this is the first time she had because she herself was saying like she didn't expect to like this creature, this cat, basically, and then slowly but surely, like it's sort of like it wasn't afraid of her. Everything else was afraid of her. It wasn't afraid of her and all that kind of stuff. And then she became friends with it.
And she fattened him up.
She fattened him up. Yeah, she planted him at first, but then she she became friends with him. She's like, nah, this is my guy, right? But yeah, I think that's the thing with her is that she's still discovering herself and discovering her emotions and all that kind of stuff. And I think there's more to Power. I think at the end of the day, once she's got a bit more of a handle of herself, I think she does even more. So, yeah.
I have to say it, and Power kind of reminds me, and I know because I've watched the show, but Power kind of reminds me of Envy. I'm not going to say where from, but you know which Envy I'm talking about. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Alchemist.
Yes. So I don't know why. It just gives me. She has this whole kind of like. Yeah, I could, kill everyone here, and I could kill the boss as well. But I'm gonna watch you guys suffer a bit because I have nothing better to do for my time, and this shit is hilarious as well. Especially watching that crybaby cry, that shit was just hilarious. So I'm pretty sure that's how she's rocking. Would you ship? Sorry, I'm going on because actually this just came up as well. Would you ship? Who are you shipping? I know you like to ship characters, so this is why
I would ship Denji and Makima, even though I feel like that is not a good relationship because I know she's using him. I know she's like I don't think she has any emotions. Okay. I don't think she has any emotions towards him. I think she's vindictive. So I would ship.
She did say Denji is her favorite type of guy. So
again, I think she's very vindictive though. So I don't feel like she's. I don't feel like she's. Like in the sense, like, I think if Power likes you, she genuinely likes you. But I think Power and Denji don't have that romantical sort of connection. That's the reason why when he held her boobs, he just didn't. It was like, oh, it's a boob, you know. And then she left the room laughing and stuff, and she's like, "Come on, Meowie, let's go to bed," you know. So yeah, like I don't think there's anything to ship between the two of them.
You think nothing could build though? Like you don't think Power can get like a whole, oh shit, this is what it's like being human. I'm having these feelings for humans now. Oh my god, I don't want Denji to die. I don't want Aki to die. You know?
Maybe, but I think the two of them kind of have this sort of relationship, like you mentioned before, like Naruto and Sakura. You know, Naruto and Sakura would always be bickering and like arguing each other in the background.
Yeah, but Naruto crushed on Sakura.
He did, but they
were like the whole time.
He did, but but it was one-sided. I feel like that's the thing. I feel like one of them could crush on the other, but it would be one-sided. I don't think it would be both ways.
I like the cat dog dynamic though. That one is like
interesting,
and they both had their companion, and then she kind of did relate to Denji. I think she's softening up to like. I'm shipping it, and that's funny because I'm actually shipping them. Not in the whole like. I definitely think that you as a viewer is supposed to think that Denji and Makima are going to get together, but I definitely think
I don't even think Denji and Makima would get together. To be honest, I think Makima. I like the shit. I like in the sense like I would ship them as these are the only characters we have to choose from. Right. I think if we got another love interest for Denji, I'd probably pick her over Makima. But
oh shit, really? Okay.
Because I don't
feel what about Eye Patch Girl? Let's say Eye Patch. Hell no,
I think Eye Patch Girl is a better ship for Aki. Yeah, okay, I don't think she match. I don't think she ships. I like it. I don't think she ships well with Denji. To be honest, they don't even have any relation. Like they've never they just met. Whereas with Makima, there's some sort of like lustful tension between them, coming from Denji, of course. But that's where I would ship them. I would ship them in a sort of like a lustful way, not like a relationship kind of way. Like I feel it would just be so uneven between the two of them if she was like, if you were to ship them like that, because of the fact that she's pretty much in control, So
I'm saying, man, they're pushing that BDSM shit on me, man. I ain't looking for any BDSM shit in my anime. I'm just joking.
What's to say?
I'm just complaining about how people hate like, oh, there's a gay character. Why are they pushing their gayness on me? I'm sorry. People have to complain about everything nowadays. Like, who the fuck cares? Anyways, but yeah, okay. Sorry. I have to meme on some people, because I find stupid people very interesting. But anyways, if you like stupid takes, make sure you like this episode again.
Yes,
you guys like it. If you do like this kind of stuff, and I'll leave you with that's all. I have nothing else to say. You literally hit all the nails on the head, on the hammer, whatever.
On the hammer,
nails on the hammer. Yes, exactly that one. Exactly
the hammer devil, right? It's gonna be so.
I can imagine a hammer devil, bro. Holy shit! He just has a big fucking hammer as a face.
Definitely.
He's like a hammerhead shark, but it's like downwards, like his nose. Anyways.
How about we get out of here?
Hammer or knife, or like machete or knife, or machete or hammer, just like deathmatch again.
Machete or hammer.
Real? Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. A hammer is blunt. Like I could probably take a hammer to the hand. I can't take a machete to the hand. Like if someone swung a hammer at me, like here's the reason why, right? I used to work on a construction site before, right? So like my dad, my dad was he is a private contractor, and when I was in school, in secondary school, I wasn't taking my education seriously. At one point in time, like I wasn't studying and stuff. I was too much interested in girls. Yeah, exactly. I was interested in girls. I know, right? I was trying to find some waifus. And and my dad basically, his punishment was like, you're not going to get your allowance unless you come and work with me on the weekend. So Saturday, I think it was just Saturday, I think, at first. I'd just go on a Saturday and I would work on a construction site. I remember the first time my dad chucked a hammer at me. Like on a construction site, people throw everything. Like you want something and someone's on top of a building and you're down on the floor. And I don't know how it works outside of Trinidad and Tobago or in the Caribbean, but people chuck buckets full of cement if they can. Like literally, that's how like mixed mortar. I have literally had to catch a bucket of mixed mortar or chuck one to someone. Like that is a thing that happens on construction sites. So
That's very
I remember my dad chucking a hammer at me and me ducking out of the way. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? Throw it back to me. I threw it back to him and he chucked it back at me and I had to catch it. Right? Like literally, I know how to I know how to throw and catch a hammer at range.
Wait,
like
you can't compare that to,
I kid you not. So,
someone trying to smash you in the head,
if someone's gonna try to come at me with a hammer, I'm pretty sure I know where to grab the hammer to like prevent them from hitting me and me getting hurt, and then swinging it back around at them. If someone comes at me with a machete, I'm probably gonna get chopped. So like, yeah, I'm gonna go hammer.
Actually, your points are actually pretty good. I'm gonna go with you with this one as well.
My points are always good. So
if they ever send me to a battle royale and I'm just like, yo, can I get one phone call to just ask? I'll call you up and be like, yo, Q, I'm usually stupid on these things. What would you choose? It's like, go with the hammer. Definitely go with the. You sure, Q? Trust me on this. Life or death? Life or death. Yes.
Hammer versus they're like asking you like, which would you prefer to go against? A hammer versus
Can I get one
a steamroller? And you're like, I think steamroller. And you're like, Q, you sure I shouldn't go with the steamroller instead of the hammer?
Obviously, you choose steamroller every time. Let's be real. Come on. That's a given, honestly.
It's a given, isn't it? Yeah.
They're just throwing their money at us at this one.
Exactly, free money. So
free real estate. All right.
With that,
anyways,
how about we get out of here? It's 10 p.m. I need to rest my coffee throat, and I've literally gone through like 4 packs of mints.
Oh.
To try to keep myself from coughing this whole time. So, but I'm doing a lot better than I did last time, because the last time I was just coughing consistently. Now I'm able to maintain it more. So that's good.
Better. Yeah.
So with that, how about we get out of here? So anything you want to say before we get out of here, Ray?
Anything? I'm sorry.
I tried. You don't have to say. You don't have to say anything. I will say it for you. Wabba dabba dub dub. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Innocent Podcast. You can find Rare pretty much everywhere at Rare Entry. That just replaced the trees with the E's with trees. You can find me at LB Garden. That's Garden Talk to you. You can find us at Simply Bench or at Simply Bench UK pretty much everywhere. And leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And we will see you guys